Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Tifosi Time Championship Edition. Apparently, one of our hosts has just left as we started the show, but that's okay. That's just for some comedic value for those of you guys on YouTube.
As soon as we started, he got up.
started, he just got up and walked away.
I love it. I love it.
No, I went too close to the television.
We're just forgive us, people, guys that are listening. We're still jubilant with excitement from Italy's championship win. Our brains are not thinking correctly. We have people walking away as the show starts. But welcome back to Tifosi Time, your weekly Serie A podcast. I am Frank. I'm here with Dan, Chris, and Pietro. We are coming to you live on Twitch and YouTube as normal on Monday nights at 9 o'clock. For our podcast listeners, we are pretty much anywhere podcasts are. Chris told me I can't use my audio only joke anymore. But I still highly recommend it. If you're eating, just go to the audio version. Anyway, fellas, should we get a collective scream of exuberance on the podcast? I know we are all still glowing from our Euro 2020 win versus England. So who wants to kick it off? Who wants to share your excitement with the crowd?
Am I the only one upset that Denmark didn't win?
Yes, we're over it. We're over it. They had their run. Get over it.
Fine. I guess I'm happy that Italy won then.
Who wants to start? How about Pietro? You want to give it a go?
I don't even know if he heard you.
Are you on the? Can you hear us?
I don't know if you can hear us. Tom, throw up the there you go. So, I mean, assuming everyone watched the game, if you're listening to this, you probably watched the game. 3-2 penalty shot win for Italy. 1-1 in 120 minutes, and then 3-2 went to penalty shots. What do you guys say, Chris? Give me some thoughts on the game?
Well, I mean, I think everyone knows that they were asleep the first 10, 15 minutes, right? And then they just turned it on. England lost the game. I mean, the way they played, just sitting back.
No, I don't buy that. I thought we weren't going to have anything to debate. Thanks for throwing something up so early. I appreciate it.
It wasn't the right approach to the game for them at all. They just sat back and let us do whatever we wanted.
I don't know. I know this is something that a lot of the England fans are saying.
I think the goal they scored in 2 minutes went to the head. They thought they would have won the game.
I don't think so. I think tactically they were wrong.
No. They played the first 5 minutes anyway. By the way, the goal that they scored on us, it was our defense is sleeping.
Yeah,
the fullback, both right, and left.
Di Lorenzo doing?
Maybe they were still warm up. Anyway, they scored and they thought they would have won. They won the game, and they disappoint me. I mean, we play good. Italy play good, but England disappointed me a lot. It disappointed me the coach. It disappointed me the way they play.
Yeah, that's
what. As a matter of fact, if you see the first half, Kane, which was the best of his team, he played well. In second half, he disappeared. He disappeared. Why? Because all the team, I don't know why, they went back. They let us play in their field.
That's right. That's what we're saying. Their approach to the game was completely wrong.
So not their approach. And I don't think it was. They don't think it was us that we play well. I think it was them. I don't know what they went in their head. Maybe they want to play the old style, Italy old style.
No, I think you guys are a little bit off, honestly, because
what do you think? There's no
Southgate's been criticized since the last run, right, of them playing too defensively. And he's been criticized because they play defensively. He doesn't play a lot of the talented players, right? And in the same token, they're criticizing him for playing, not playing a lot of the talented people, which obviously, okay, I do agree he could have played more of the better players, but they're also praising him for bringing English soccer back and getting them to the finals, right? So this wasn't that different than they played versus anybody else. The
No, but-
difference is Italy woke up and controlled the ball and closed them down.
But they let him do it, man.
Yeah, but if you're England and you see the way Spain dominated Italy,
Yeah.
why are you doing the exact opposite of what Spain did? It made no sense, the approach.
Well, because I think it showed, that we over-respected Spain. And I think when we came back and we played England, we didn't give them the same respect. Listen, the first 15 minutes, England got the goal in the first 2 minutes, right? They broke out. Our defense was a mess. Di Lorenzo was a mess. Emerson was a mess. It was causing all types of problems in the middle because they had to compensate for the fullbacks that were out of position. Everything was a disaster. And then after that, we climbed back in the game, and everything started falling apart for England. They couldn't even clear the ball out without kicking out of bounds, right? Like
they didn't. But it looked like they didn't have an intention of doing anything. They were set with just sitting back.
Yeah, but that also is because that early lead that kind of forced them, not forced them, but that was their strategy.
I actually said that to you at halftime. I was like, it looks like they're kind of playing for penalties already.
For 88 minutes, they were playing for the 1-0 win or tie.
I think the mistake, the coach's mistake is to change style, major, to play the 3-5-2, whatever you do. They never play 3-5-2.
I would be very frustrating as an
As a matter of fact, the Tripper didn't do nothing. Like he disappeared from the game.
Yeah. Because they had talent on that team, and they could have pressed. They could have put pressure.
I think besides that, I think the coach didn't put the right people in the field.
And too long. He waited to make his subs too long. Not that I want to talk about England this whole time, but I think England's coach hurt them more. He could have done more.
He was mismanaged
with the way that they played. It was definitely mismanaged, and he deserves to be criticized.
No, Southgate could have definitely managed the team better. Could have used the subs quicker. Could have realized the adjustments that Mancini made earlier and fixed the game, and he didn't. So yeah, he didn't help his team win. But in reality, England did nothing but the first goal. Like they did nothing.
It was their only shot on goal.
So Italy has to get credit for that because listen, everything wasn't perfect with Italy either. Di Lorenzo had one of the worst games ever, and I can criticize Mancini for leading him into the end. If I was screaming for him to be coming out, and me and Daddy were sitting there watching together at halftime before 30 minutes. We were like, they need to fix the right side because Chiesa can't attack because there's nobody covering him. Barella's getting sucked out. Di Lorenzo's getting cut out of the play, and I think it got fixed by luck, honestly. But Di Lorenzo was a disaster.
Yeah, Emerson was not good either.
No. About the second half, he came out.
Yeah. Oh, he came out late. Yeah. I don't know. He put Florenzi in for penalty shots, basically.
But you see, Frank, when all those passes we used to have, what we used to say, but these people, they want to go in goal with the ball, They never try to shoot it from outside. Too many passes in there.
This was sometimes. Yeah, I agree with you. We were talking about that. We were like, well, they just shoot because this was the weird part about this game, right? We started horrible and England took the lead. So you felt frustrated like you were chasing the result, but from the 15 minutes on, you felt like Italy had the goal was coming.
Yeah.
You were just frustrated because they wouldn't take the chances. They wouldn't but I felt like we were in control of the game, but at a loss of the result. Right. So I watched a ton of YouTube English shows today. Right. And it was like, they were like, oh, what a horrible goal that we gave up, a sloppy goal at Italy. And the fact of the matter is, Pickford made a really nice save on Chiesa the couple minutes before. Like we had the bulk of the play was Italy. Italy deserved to win the game.
Pickford was their best player.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. He's a little like a 12-year-old.
Then the team started to play well when Berardi came in.
Yeah, that was the big change. Mobley did nothing.
I think Belotti and Mobley, they were not useless for this team. They didn't play enough.
Listen, when I brought that up, what show was it when I brought that up when we were talking about like if Mobley keeps playing like that, I said I'd rather see the false nine, and then he did it the next.
In part, we play better with Spain for the same water because we put Belotti and Mobley because if it was Berardi in the beginning, they wouldn't have all the supremacy on midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And also when you look at the English defenders, right, with Maguire and stuff, having a Mobley in the middle, I think helped them. right? Like as soon as we were able to put Berardi in and we had more interchange and movement off the ball, it did the same thing that Spain did to us with the false nine, right? Like it made us have a lot more space, and it was.
And there where Mancini made a mistake because he didn't put him on Berardi.
Yeah, but you know, in the same token, the first 15 minutes when they played better, Kane was coming back deeper away from the forwards to get the ball, and that caused a lot of problems for us.
Yeah, but you have to understand one thing: England does never the same play of Spain.
No,
Spain is the whole team that play like us. You know, one touch, 1 and 2.
Yeah, technically.
England, I don't understand. Something went in their head. They thought they won, and they tried to play the defense.
Okay, so usually I'm the one.
Minutes in their field.
Usually I'm the one giving Italy no credit. I think honestly we got one of the best games from Verratti. Jorginho played good. I think our midfield actually played good. They did the opposite of what we let Spain do.
Yeah, but Frankie, what are saying here while they were watching the game? Di Lorenzo and Barella, they weren't doing nothing on the right side.
Yeah, that right side was a disaster for a while, except for
they weren't help Chiesa at all.
No.
As a matter, they moved Chiesa on the left side for a moment.
Yeah. Listen, it wasn't a perfect game by Italy by any imagination, right? It wasn't a perfect game, but in the end, if you look at the 120 minutes entirety, Italy deserved to win.
The team that won deserved to win.
That's what I said. The more that they say England that disappointed me. It said they look play like a second division team.
No, he's right.
Stand back. What are they trying to do?
Yeah. I think
if you look at all the talent on England's bench.
Sterling, besides the try to have a penalty, what he did that guy? Nothing at all. It's true or not?
Their whole team didn't do anything.
They had the team to attack, and they decide to play defense.
Yes, and I think Dan. Go ahead, Dan. You go, and then I'll jump in.
No, I was just saying that England has more talent on their bench, and they didn't use it. Like I thought when Grealish came in, like he was their most effective player, and he could have played more.
In the beginning.
Yeah, they got a ton of talent on the bench, right? Grealish, Sancho.
Sancho coming in at the 120th minute. Are you kidding me?
Well, listen, that was another stupid thing. I never believed in that when they put someone in, not even let them take 2 kicks of the ball and then go take a penalty. Like that was the dumbest thing ever.
And not only that, he subbed them on a defensive corner too, like where people don't know how to mark up on corners. They don't know.
He put one at right fullback that was almost getting beat in the 4 minutes extra time. That if we would have been able to cross the ball, we might have won it before the penalties.
Like I think it could have been different if Southgate would have used his roster better, and England would have had a better chance at winning. He played way too conservative to me.
The England coach, it wasn't the mistake. He was scared, more scared than the player.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think
like he wasn't watching the game.
And I know Frank
about anything.
Frank wants to give credit to Italy, and definitely, like they were the better team. I think English fans would say Italy deserved to win, but like I do feel like England let them play. Like, they didn't press, they didn't do anything.
The reason I'm saying is because this isn't a team that played so offensive the rest of the tournament, and they changed. Remember the last show where I said, there was 20 minutes where Denmark played so well that they were controlling the ball in and out. England was chasing them, and if they would have had one or more, maybe a better forward, maybe they would have scored and maybe even won the game. We just did that instead of for 20 minutes. We did it for 65 minutes.
Yes.
Right? So it wasn't like the first time we've seen that.
Yeah, Pond made a good point in the chat saying that England beat who they were supposed to beat and then lost who they were supposed to beat. I agree. England, if you look throughout the tournament, mostly home games, they didn't have the toughest competition throughout the tournament. They won those games. They faced a good team in the final, a better team in the final, and they lost, and they deserved to lose.
Daniel, they had the team. The problem is they had the team.
Well,
I was, talk to Frank and say, I wouldn't get upset if we would have lost to the penalty or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we were playing better. We deserve better.
That was my thought. With the Spain game, if Italy would have lost in the penalties, I would say, you know what? Spain deserved to win that game. I can't get upset about that. With the England game, if England would have won that penalty kick shootout, I would have been so pissed because England had no right to win that game.
Yeah. Well, so that being said, though, like England is a pretty young team, and like they should be proud, and they have like a bright future. The talent they had on this bench is insane, and they need to play next time. Like Sancho, like
Yeah, listen, I think they're gonna probably re-up Southgate, right? But I don't know how much further. He probably makes it to the World Cup in 22, and then he probably is gonna be out, right? But to look at Belgium, they were calling them the golden age, right?
Yeah,
for
they
what,
never did
12 years,
anything.
they never did anything. So when you get to the final, you need to win because you never know if you're gonna get back to a final. I don't care how many good players you supposedly have.
Yeah.
You know, so
I don't think Southgate's a good coach for them. They
but
just
Frankie,
re-upped him, so
in the final, you need a little bit luck. When you play a final,
penalties,
you need
for
the
sure.
luck. The whole thing is like England didn't try to win.
That's
like
what
it
I
was waiting for the penalties.
Yeah.
I don't know if they didn't try to win or if they didn't know how to beat us.
They didn't try at all.
But here's the deal.
Kane disappear, Sterling disappear. Rice usually is the best. He didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
But why?
I
did
don't
they do
think it was
anything?
Verratti, Jorginho, Barella.
It was. We had the ball. They couldn't do anything.
Because they sat back. They didn't do anything.
They didn't try.
Listen, Frank.
And their mistake was to play the 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Because
I agree. Southgate.
Even the
screwed the pooch. I agree.
The goal, after the goal, he didn't do nothing. So he didn't never win.
But also, you have to look at it this way too. They scored 2 minutes into the game. They are home. Why are you not pressing? You could have got another one.
This is why I don't think this is true, because they come out, they score a goal 2 minutes in, the crowd goes nuts, right? The next 15 minutes, Italy's still in shambles. Di Lorenzo can't get off it. He's stepping on his own wang in and out of the play. He's falling down. Emerson's out of position, right? Like 15 minutes. So what? All of a sudden, 18 minutes. They're like, okay, now let's defend.
No, but you're giving
Italy came out.
England played, Italy didn't play the first 15 minutes, but England didn't play great either the first 15 minutes. England scored on a counterattack goal from a corner kick. It's not
which
like
was nicely taken, though. That was a nicely,
it was a very nice play,
nice.
But that's literally all they did the entire game. It's not like that first 15 minutes of like, oh, Italy's down, they're going to lose 4-0 this game. I was thinking that whole time they can easily come back.
The guy Mount, I like the way he played, but he wasn't there.
No, he didn't do much of anything.
He had a poor game.
So I'm saying,
the coach, what do you wait to see who to do something to change?
He got outcoached.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. When we played Belgium, right? You guys were saying, oh, we played so good, that's how we beat Belgium. And I said, well, they had a couple shots, right, from outside. So why versus Belgium, who I think had just as good, if not a better team than England, right? It was all us. But for England, they decided to sit back at home at Wembley and with the 1-goal lead. I don't think you can do it like that. You can't just pick which ones we want to give Italy credit for and which ones we want to.
Well, what do you mean? They played two different styles, like England and Belgium.
Usually England is a game. It's to attack all the time.
Yeah, but Southgate's been criticized for changing that. It wasn't just versus Italy.
Yeah, changing. But why they stay back?
Yeah, I agree. I know his tactically
to play. That's
tactically, he definitely wanted to sit back and play defense. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying he didn't change that just for Italy.
Like
he changed that.
They were in Italy. They were there.
Yeah, he played the whole tournament
that. Yeah, they were a defensive team. They let up 2 goals the entire tournament.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think it was the right approach.
Oh, agreed.
Against Italy.
Well, that's where he's being criticized, right? He has a lot of offensive players, and he's not playing them.
They could have played the first 10, 15 minutes because we had Immobile as a forward. But in the beginning, if we had the Berardi, they couldn't even do nothing. Because that defense, 3 big people, they had nobody to mark. We play 1-2. They were slow compared to us. All 3 of them.
I mean, from that game, let's say 15 minutes on, like, for me, like Frankie said, I think the goal was coming. Like, everyone that we were watching the game was like, it's coming. The tying goal is coming. It's just a matter if they score a second one, in regulation or whatever. Like, all the momentum was Italy's way. Like, Chiesa was doing whatever he wanted, and he was a threat every time he touched the ball. And my one concern was when he got hurt, at the end of the
Yes.
game, it's like, oh crap, now you don't have Spinazzola on one side, you don't have Casey on
We
the other
said the
side.
same exact thing.
Like, what are you
Exact
going to
thing.
do? And then
Yeah.
Lord Bernardeschi comes in, comes in.
The truth, you know what it is too? If we analyze the game, right? The truth, we won and everything's okay. But still, we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And England made more mistake than us.
Yeah, you're not going to be perfect. It's a
Yeah,
natural.
perfect. Perfect. We did play well on the right side with Barella. What's his name?
Yeah,
And
Di
Di
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
Listen, I don't think the left side played good either.
Then he
No,
starts
he
Mancini. He looked like he was a player for Juventus. In other words, I can explain what it's like. In order for the price of Locatelli not to go up, they didn't put no more if they scored 2 goals. Cristante surpassed him.
Yeah, I don't understand
Listen,
that.
Cristante played good.
Play good.
think
He did play good.
I
He
think
helped
he
change
has-
the game
he
positive
has-
for Italy.
More trust in Cristante.
You know
But-
why
but-
they put Cristante? Because he say he needs more physicality. Physics.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I want Locatelli. He's
but
short.
Well,
Here's the
Locatelli
deal
also
with
played good. It's not
Cristante,
Locatelli versus
Locatelli is
Cristante.
short.
But-
And Pessina didn't play at all.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But here's the deal. They had Cristante playing
Come on.
pretty far up. He's playing center back for Rome all season. So what,
Yeah.
what the hell is
Well,
that?
it was funny. At
Personal.
one point, I actually suggested early on, which if I was coach, we probably would have lost, right? Because Bonucci scored the goal. But
I
at
know.
one point, when the defense was disorganized, I recommended, look, if he doesn't want to go off the 4, the fullbacks are so bad that and the way that England was playing, I was like, you either got to tell Bonucci to move up and play in front of Chiellini, or put Cristante in so he could play and help the midfield because it was so
The
disorganized.
funny thing about the defense and talking about the central defense, if you saw Chiellini pushing up on the left
Left
more than
back.
Di Lorenzo,
Yeah.
and I love to see that. Like, if Di Lorenzo's not going to do it, then you friggin' do it. That's how poor Di Lorenzo was.
Well, there were so many times where Emerson also in the second half, even though he got open and they were switching the ball over to him,
He's-
he did the one thing. He made a nice trap and then came backward. But that was where you lost Spinazzola, right? Because Spinazzola with one touch would have gained 10 yards
Listen,
and they would have been away. So many times he had so much space. but
Emerson
he just
is
came
in
back.
there. Emerson's in there for one reason. He can't play defense, and he's not as fast, and he can't shoot like Spinazzola. So if he's not going to cross the ball, why the hell are you in? He didn't try to cross the ball once.
That's what I said. That's what I said during the game. I go, look, if we don't have Spinazzola, you don't have guys that can attack. Give me the guys that can defend better.
Yeah,
Like
and
Di Lorenzo and
so-
Emerson, they weren't. I'd rather have Bostonian and honestly, and a Cherbier put somebody who can defend. Like if you're not gonna, Di Lorenzo got cut out, and the thing is, this reminded me when we played. Remember we had Thurkelson playing right fullback, right? It was like if you have one weak side that's getting cut out, and all of a sudden your center back's got to come over and back you up the entire time. There were spaces in the middle. They were running through. Everything was off balance.
It was two
The
weak
back
sides
si-
this time.
The
though.
weak side was completely open because Emerson had to go all the way to the middle because Bonucci and Chiellini were getting sucked to the right. That was the problem, and that also holds back Chiesa because Chiesa didn't have any support behind him between Barella and Di Lorenzo, so it was like he couldn't really be unleashed moving forward.
But still, the biggest issue of the team was Immobile. Like once he left the field, they had a much more significant chance of being successful and converting something because he was lost up there again.
He had a very bad tournament. Very bad.
Awful tournament.
Yeah, he did.
Immobile.
Yeah.
Oh,
Immobile.
Immobile.
He
It
was-
was another day game.
Going back to Chiesa, I don't know. I always crap on Juventus, even though we're Juventus fans. But watching him play makes you excited for the season.
Yeah,
coming
but
up.
you see,
Seriously,
Chiesa is informed. He improved a lot.
he's
And this is too because he played Juventus.
Yeah.
Believe it
Yeah.
or not.
100%.
he's great, man.
And here's
Because
the
if he was to play Fiorentina, it wouldn't be like that.
and
No.
here's the funny
He
part,
got
guys.
this whole encouragement with Juventus. That guy, now he believes in himself, like he believes what he can do.
Yeah, he believes he can carry the team now, right? That he belongs and he's there. He believes he can make an impact. So it's fun to watch him play. Here's the funny thing: we're 4 Juventus fans. We basically made fun of them the entire year, right? As we were dissatisfied, and we were saying, this is what happens when you have old people. Italy doesn't have a lot of Juventus players on it. In the end, which is really remarkable, when you look at Italy's success, they all played great, right?
It was the Juventus players.
It was the Juventus players that made a difference.
Frank, if you go back, Chiesa with Juventus, right? He wasn't the only one to know dependent on Ronaldo.
Yeah,
he came to the point he was doing whatever he felt to do.
No, we're not surprised about Chiesa.
No, we're talking about everyone else. Like, look at Juventus. Bonucci, Chiellini, first of all, no one thought that he would even last the whole tournament the way he gets hurt. Bonucci is a completely different player when Chiellini's next to him. Like, his tournament was fantastic. And we hate Bonucci, but you got to give him credit.
I've been saying that about Bonucci for 5 years.
But then
he made his career because of Chiellini.
But even then, you throw in Bernardeschi, who can't touch the ball on Juventus, and he scores 2 penalty shots. And
even when he came in, he played decent pressing.
Yeah, he played like good, Bernardeschi, when he came in. He was the one that started to press.
He's got to use his energy.
So again,
they made them do a lot of mistakes.
This comes down to coaching. So who wants Pirlo back?
Forget about Pirlo. He's not going anywhere.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
But yeah, I mean that's the funny part to me about this whole team. Juventus suck and they played so well.
Bernardeschi, we never liked him. A lot of Juventus don't like him. But I have to say something. With Juventus, he did some good game, but when he used to play with Juventus, he didn't put the grinta that put in the national team. Like he didn't want to show confidence. Like I can do it.
Bernardeschi is the type of player where mentally he's not fragile because he pushes through having a tough year and everything, but he's the type that if he has the coach's encouragement and he thinks he's playing well and he thinks he's in the team, he's going to play 110% better than if he thinks I'm the first one out. I'm playing bad. Everyone wants me.
Oh wait, I'm going in finally. You're going to put me left back? Cool. Screw that.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think Mancini did do a nice job of making everyone feel like, hey, I'm a part of this team. I can help, and it went a long way.
Let's talk about that a second. Like Mancini definitely look. I know there was a lot of things that rewound back to them missing the World Cup and the disaster with Ventura, right? And it was funny. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember this. We were at some party. It might have been at Aunt Molina's in Long Island. We were at some party and we had a debate, and I was saying Italy has a lot of good young players that could turn it around quick. I think Daddy was yelling at me saying I was drunk, and then like 6 months later, he was like, "Oh, naming the same players that I was saying to him." So I give Mancini credit for turning the page. But what he did was build the group.
Mancini, he did the group.
He built the group. That's what he did. Yeah.
But he made so many mistakes.
Yeah, but nowadays, what coach doesn't?
I see some people don't see. A lot of people are dedicated.
Nobody's perfect, man. They won the cup. You can't complain about it. They won the cup.
No, he made mistakes, but I think Dan's right. Like, in the same token, they say, 40 million coaches in Italy? Like, none of the coaches don't make mistakes. The days of Lippi, and even Lippi made a mistake in the final, the way he didn't play Zambrotta or whatever when they lost the Champions League final. I forget what game that was, but
Lippi was good. They made a mistake on a championship when we play against the Milan. He put Montero to mark.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
made a big mistake in that.
And Lippi, I would say, is pretty close to as perfect a coach that I ever remember for Italy, right? So you got to say Mancini, in terms of what he got out of the group, right? And he wasn't afraid to use it. He made everyone feel important. He played a team. I mean, they won, right? They won. So.
Yeah, but as Frank, everything can do well if the game ended well.
Yeah.
All right. But there is a lot of question mark. Why Locatelli left the 2 goals, didn't play no more? Why Pessina the last game he didn't play at all?
Well, listen, we have our questions.
Why he didn't help Di Lorenzo?
Listen, for us, we would have never taken Locatelli out for Verratti, right? After the first 2 games.
Which could have been the wrong move.
Yeah, it could have been the wrong move. It might not have worked.
Barella, the last 3 games, he was out of the...
Yeah, I think he was just so tired.
Yeah, Barella was...
Verratti
grew into the tournament. Right, and Barella fell out of it because he was tired. So
Verratti was the best.
Yeah. So listen, I always remember this. Remember back in 2006 right? I remember they were picking the team, and like I was never a Materazzi fan, right? I thought he was a big forward that fouled and called red cards and calls penalties, right? At the end of the day, if you go back to the final, who tied it up? Materazzi on a header, and then he scored a penalty, right? Like sometimes when you're destined to win, things go right, and sometimes even when you make the right moves, they don't go right.
That game he saved us against the French.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He upset to Zidane.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
he
saying.
drew the red card. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't mean there's always one way, right? Because if it was us, we think we know what we're talking about, we would have never called Materazzi probably.
Yeah, I
So
I can't. Like I said, I can't fault them. They won. They won the tournament. So you can't. I can't fault them. We have some questions. Also in here, which we're going to talk. Pon said who wants Ronaldo back. We're going to talk about transfers more next week, and then. But Pon makes a good point with this next one. Who's Italy's center backs in the World Cup, which is coming up?
That's a great question.
And they're already talking about trying to get Chiellini to stay for the World Cup.
Daniel, it's 1 year and a half. I don't know if Chiellini can play that.
I know.
I don't think he's going to.
I don't even know if Bonucci can play that.
I will bet on Chiellini just because, why not? Right? Like no one was betting on him this year, and I held true. So listen, if he wants to play and he can stay not hurt, I think he plays. But you can't count on that. So it's a great question, Pond. I think they have to start to find the next pair in the middle, as if Chiellini and Bonucci are both not there. Right, and then if they're there and they're in form, great. One of them, two of them, you take them. But
so you're hoping one of those is Bastoni.
I think Bastoni is one of them.
Also, you know what I don't understand? There was 1982 when we were a World Cup with Berzot.
Mm-hmm.
Berzot put in defense the youngest guy, Bergom, 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why Mancini didn't try at all Bastoni?
Well, he played.
He wasn't a place for
one game. Listen, you're not gonna take out Chiellini and Bonucci when they're both healthy.
No, De Lorenzo, Emerson.
Because in a final of a tournament, he's not going to do that. The first time, hey, go ahead, go play on the left. He's not going to go do that. Go play on the right.
He play on the left. Bastoni.
The left of a center three. They're playing back four. It's different.
Perché ne può giocare opposti di Emerson?
We changed it. We changed to Italian.
No può giocare on the right side opposti di Lorenzo.
And it's a different system. You can't just do that in the 80th minute of a tournament final. They're not going to do that. You have to be realistic.
There's certain things you have to understand. Like there's certain gambles you're going to take or not take, right? So like I agree. For me, Bastoni would have played over those guys, but only if I prepared the team for that. Yeah. Not like randomly like, hey, you're in. You're playing. That's like putting him in, center forward because he's tall.
But you see, like De Lorenzo was playing good.
No, he sucked.
And so why don't you make a change?
Yeah, that was the one question I had for Mancini all the way.
You have Tolo in the back too, right?
Well, I was saying that when we were watching the game, kind of put Toloy in, but
in the back.
It was funny. It was funny because Emerson was terrible, and Michael, we were watching with Michael. He goes, "Put Chiellini at left back. He used to play." And I was just like, I guess. I mean, he could have done it.
It's true, but they were clear weak spots. Like they were very clear weak spots on the team. It was them two and Immobile,
and they overcame it, which is credit to the rest of the team.
They overcome it though? I mean, they went to penalties.
They won the game.
They didn't win on the field.
They won.
So anyway, speaking of the penalties, because we haven't spoken about the penalties. Number one, Donnarumma. Juventus are freaking idiots for not going for him because he's legit and he's going to be the best goalie in the world for the next 15 years, 10 years.
Yeah, it is pretty stupid.
That's a legit. Daniel, before Juventus, you have to talk about Milan. You would have signed the 10 million.
Listen, they're idiots too. Yes,
they are. Idiots.
Once a side, you sell.
I
said that was malpractice by letting him go for free.
Yeah,
malpractice.
That was awful.
You signed him, and then you sell yourself. You don't sell.
So Donnarumma won. Donnarumma won player of the tournament. But also, if you watched our preview episode on Saturday, we did our predictions, and I don't want to brag, but I will. I said that the game was going to go to penalty shots. The final is going to be 2-1. Bernardeschi will score the important goal. And what happened? Bernadeschi scored.
You did
the winning
have,
goal.
and I actually said that to Daddy. I said, "Oh, on the preview," because we all said 2-1. I think all of us said 2-1.
Yeah.
But you actually called the penalty shootout and Bernadeschi scoring again, which me, Italy track record with penalties, which maybe I need to stop thinking we suck so bad because that was more past history from 90 and 94 with Baggio. Recently we beat France in 2006 in the final. We won this one, so maybe we're not
with Donnarumma in net. I think they have an advantage anyone they go against.
And the penalty, the first one I say with Berard, I say we're going to score, and we did. Like with Locatelli, we missed. What I don't understand, when it came to time of Jorginho, I say he's going to score all the time. And Frank was saying, you jinx him.
Well, he never misses. Yeah.
Because he was celebrating.
The goalie made a good save, right? And the corner. But
it was a good save.
For the goalie to make that save, the shot wasn't too hard.
No, it wasn't hard. It wasn't.
Because if it was a little bit hard, the goal never get to the corner. Probably.
Yeah, I don't.
So one of the things I would recommend, if you guys haven't done it yet, if anyone's listening, is you can go on YouTube and they did a lot of channels did a lot of good jobs. They did real time fan reactions to different parts of the game, and there's a few that have done it. Like if you go look at the penalty shots, because if you think of the penalty shootout, it was like the roller coaster of emotions, back and forth, right? We're happy because we won. But if you think about it, Berardi comes and scores. Kane comes, scores, ties it up. What do you call it? Boletti steps up, save. We're like, oh, shoot, right? We're behind. Because Maguire comes and hits upper 90. We're we're down 2-1, right?
Shot, yeah.
Then the pressure's on. Who shot after that? Bonucci, again, number 3. He comes and he ties it, right? And we're like, okay, we're still behind. Donnarumma stands his ground versus who took the third one for England?
Grealish, I think. Was it Grealish?
No. Radford.
Oh, Rashford, yeah.
Yeah, he took it, stands his ground. He has to try to go 2-2 perfect, hits the post. We're back even, right? Then steps up Bernadeschi for Dan's predicted number 4, which shoots it right in the middle.
Down the middle.
Yeah,
down the middle, but it went in, so hell, it worked.
Yep.
Right? And then comes a save by Donnarumma on Sancho, right? And now we're up. Then here comes Jorginho to win it.
Yeah, just nice.
Who never misses, and he saves, and now you're back to oh my God, we had a chance to win it, we just screwed it up again. And then here comes Donnarumma and saves the 5th shot versus
for England to miss the last three shots.
Yeah, last 3.
Ugh.
So it was crazy. It was one of the.
Again, part of that does come down to going back to England's strategy there. A 19-year-old taking very young guys, kids that just came off, didn't get a touch on the ball, right? To miss the last 3. I mean, that's a lot of pressure.
Again, that's all on Southgate too.
Yeah.
Right. He put all those 3 people in cold to go take a penalty. And then you have to also wonder too, there was people with a lot more experience than those kids, 18 or 19 years old. Why were they sitting there and letting them take it?
The coach asked players who wants to step up, and people want to step up, and some people don't want to step up. If someone says, yes, I want to take one, I have confidence in you. I'm going to do it. They know their players.
But didn't Southgate say they had it chosen before the game?
I don't know,
but they're asked before the game.
They were in that huddle, and he's like, "All right," he's still filling out stuff. I don't know if he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't think Saka should have took the 5th penalty shot. I don't mind him taking one.
First of all, that's a good point, right?
Did you see?
Saka said the 2nd, 3rd. He's the youngest put. You put him number 5.
Did you see? They have the words Kane, another 2 players were of Grealish because they and Mourinho say. He heard one of the players refused to shoot the penalty.
No,
that's what Mourinho say.
The story about Grealish is he was saying that he took it, but he didn't want to. He said he wanted to take it, so he was taking the blame for. He didn't say Southgate just put me in it. I told him I want to take the kick. So I mean, there's that. Like I said,
Grealish didn't take a kick,
didn't he?
No, he didn't.
No.
Well, he said he wanted to, though.
Yeah, he didn't take a kick.
Yeah.
That's why he's being criticized, right? Because at a certain point, you have people that are there much long. Look. As much as Bonucci, right? I mean, he stepped up. He took a shot. You have people to have even the order, like you can question the order. If you want Saka to take it to the point, why not put him number
What?
2 or 3? Why put him number
Wait.
5?
Hey, the order. Did you see Mancini? He changed the order.
Only slightly. Only slightly.
No, Locatelli did.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
changed the kick taker.
Locatelli, that was
Yeah.
it. But the order, the rest stayed the same. Bonucci number 3. I think Bernardeschi in the same spot. Jorginho in the same spot.
If you look at Locatelli, like he missed the one against Spain, he just probably had no confidence in what he, he didn't have confidence, and the coach didn't have confidence in him, so he let somebody else kick. It turned out to be a good.
Well, you know what? That's actually a good move, right? Like, why let that guy be in his head that, hey, you just missed one versus Spain? Why have that in his head? Have someone else take it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but there is another thing. Berardi against Spain wasn't there, I think.
No, he had come off. Berardi had come off.
That's why Berardi usually, even in Sassuolo, he kicked the penalty.
Mhm.
Berardi Sassuolo.
Yeah, Locatelli doesn't take the penalties for
No,
Sassuolo,
once in a while he take it.
Mhm.
So Locatelli.
But
But
I don't know.
Berardi is the first
Look,
one.
at the end of the day, we're all celebrating. It's an accomplishment. Like we said at the beginning of the tournament, we all picked Italy to win, but of course, it's a Serie A podcast, and we're
Hey,
all
producer
Italian.
$1,000.
That's right.
You
The
did win
producer
some money.
won $1,100 on a
Congratulations.
bet from before, so that's good. We're happy for him. I only bet like 10 shekels. I won like 80. But it's all good. Yeah. So what are your takeaways from this? I mean, obviously the celebration's on. Rome's in party mode. Everybody's in party mode. Do we bother entertaining where the team has to go next, or do we wait that for another show since we're still in celebration mode?
I think you enjoy it.
I mean, you think they haven't lost in 2 or 3 years with Mancini. As long as he's the coach, which he's going to be the coach for the World Cup, you have confidence in that they're going to perform well. Maybe they won't win. They won't win the World Cup. Who knows? They're probably going to be one of the favorites now. You would think.
You know what I think? I think what's his name? Mancini has to start to try Raspadori.
Well, so that's what you do
To try
now.
Bastoni.
There's a few questions. Go ahead, Dan.
No, he has to do that because they have some old players in key spots, so they have to start getting that. But he's done it to his credit. Since he's taken over, he's had 67 players play on his roster.
So here's
it's
what
not
I
like
will
he's not
say to
changing a
Mancini,
lot.
right? To Mancini, he did it. Dan said is right. He had 67 players in there. I think 38 was their first time ever being capped under Mancini. But now it's a different dynamic because now he has a group that they all enjoyed glory together, right? And now is the real test of the coach and saying, I got to do what's best for the next tournament and not be loyal to the guys that were on the group.
Yep, I need to find a forward that can put the ball in the net.
Listen,
I need to
Immobile is
find
going to
a
be
right
there.
back.
I still believe in Immobile. As bad as he was, he's going to be there. But
He's
you got to
gonna be
find
on the
one.
team.
I don't
You
believe
gotta
too
find-
much. I think Belotti, Mobile has to go.
I agree. I don't
Because
trust
you
him
see,
anymore.
for the people we have, Berardi, Chiesa, Insigne, he doesn't fit. I see better Raspadori than
Yeah, so you have Zaniolo hopefully coming back.
Zaniolo's
You
gonna
have
be there.
Raspadori. You have younger players who can play. The bigger question to me too is like that center defense, like Pon is saying. Like Chiellini, I don't think is going to be there. Bonucci is not the same without him. So it's
If
gonna be a
I
struggle.
was Bonucci, if I was Mancini, as much as I love Chiellini, right? I can't count on Chiellini being there in a year and a half. What I have to see really quickly is, and I'm dead serious about this because I think Bonucci will still be playing, is I have to try Bonucci and Bastoni as
Frank, I'm
quickly
not
as
sure
possible.
Bonucci. I'm not sure
But listen, let me
Bonucci's gonna
finish.
be there.
Here's my point. I've been
Yeah.
saying for 6 or 7 years, Bonucci made his career because of Chiellini.
Uh,
So if you lose Chiellini, in my mind, you lose Bonucci because he's not going to be as good. So you have to find can Bonucci be Bonucci with Bastoni, or do I have to count on replacing both of them?
So you're forgetting about Acerbi too.
Cherby, honestly, I think is a drop off. He's
And-
what is he? 31.
Acerbi, how old is Acerbi?
And
He's in his
Rugani.
early 30s. You have Rugani.
Yeah, he's in Bonucci's 33. Cherby's what? 31, 32.
So
He's
younger
younger.
defenders. So you also have Toloi too, who's back there. You have
Toloy I
young,
was not impressed with, to be honest with you.
Don't forget, we have Calabria.
Calabria will help.
he's an
on the
outside
right.
back, okay. But you have Mancini. I don't have faith in him.
Mancini Roma is good.
I like
I
Mancini
don't
at
trust him.
Roma better than Toloy.
You have Lovato on Hellas Verona.
Lovato is another
So
possibility.
these are the things he's got to figure out
Yep.
because he's got to make changes.
He has to start to try these people.
But he will.
Even,
He's going to mix him in.
Even the guy from Sassuolo, what's his name?
Ferrara,
Magnini, what's his name?
Magnani.
Magnan. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just gonna have to start to look, right? Lovato, you can't go and go, I hope Chiellini and Bonucci are still good a year and a half from now.
No.
Like, you can't count on that.
So that's the thing. Like, there's still a lot of questions, and I'm glad that they get time to figure it out before another big tournament, and hopefully they get the right mix. This team is going to be very similar to
It's
what
gonna
it
be
is.
similar. Out of 20, was it 20? Did they have more than 23 players on
It's
this
26.
one? 26. So out of 26, I think you're probably gonna have 6 to 8 different, which
I
would be a
don't
good mix
With
to refresh.
injuries and old people.
With injuries.
I think Sirigo is going to go.
Yeah, Sidigo
Yes.
will be gone. You know, so you're gonna have Donnarumma and who is the question, right? Is Merritt again, or do you have
You got it,
Cronio
yeah.
by then?
No,
The
but
goalies
the
are fine
we
now.
have,
Goalies were
we have,
fine.
Yeah, that's the least of the worries.
We
That-
have a Cranio. We have
I'm not worried about goalies, but fullbacks I am worried, right? Like, we gotta hope Pellegrini maybe plays on Juventus and gets better,
Yeah.
You can't
right?
count on him.
Hopefully Spinazzola comes back.
So and on the right side you have Calabria.
Calabria and who, right? Who's that other person?
It's rough. It's rough out there.
They gotta hope they find another person, because that was a weakness. It really was.
The midfield's the midfield. It's not going to change much.
The midfield, you could have a resurgence of Tonali, but right now he sucks. He was barely playing in Serie A.
Yeah. The wingers are the wingers. You add Zaniolo to the mix.
You have Sensi still. You have other players.
Sensi's not going to be there.
It depends. You don't know what Sensi's going to do the
Sense
next
is
few years.
broken. Sense is like Chiellini. It's broken.
He's
For
hurt.
For a
forwards,
broken guy, he's still playing at 37.
It's broken.
for forwards, you have Kane and you have Raspadori. You would hope would be able to jump in.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think Keane is going to be able to get back into
Don't
the
forget
good graces?
Don't forget Cutrone too, right? Chris loves him.
Cutrone. There's Skamaka too. Might turn into something.
Skamaka, yeah. I mean,
Skamaka.
It's another mobile.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. You toss these guys away. They may not be Vieri, but can you really say?
You know who's going to be the center forward? Raspadori.
Listen, speaking of Raspadori, you guys, I know we're not talking transfer rumors, but if he goes to Inter, I'm boycotting the league because I'll flip out.
$20 million.
They'll probably ruin his career.
Oh my God! Please no! Please do not go to Inter.
Listen, but to go back to people like Skamaka, right? Yes, they're not Vieri, right? But when we have forwards like Belotti and Immobile, should we just cut anyone out? Like, we don't know. We got to give them a chance. It's not like it's not like they're beating these tremendous forwards. We don't have Von Boston. Like,
Pond, I can't wait to start.
That's
start
what
talking
I
about
say.
Inter next year.
Raspadori, those I see together with Insigne, Berardi, and Chiesa.
Yeah, but
Because you see, Raspadori is one that move.
yeah.
He variate on the right, and he go.
No.
He followed the play.
we
He
agree.
score usually.
We agree. Raspadori is definitely going to be there. Everyone loves him.
You're
He's
preaching to the
captain.
choir.
Yeah, we
I
love
told
him.
Yeah, but can we
Raspadori
also
last
say that
year.
he has to have a good year the next year and the year before leading up to the World Cup?
But his year wasn't bad this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's had one half a good year. He scored 10 goals.
Yeah.
Like, can the guy, let's not pencil him in for 2022 yet.
And,
as like
and
the
he
starter.
does more than just score goals. And
does.
I've been saying it for
Raspadori.
2 years now that he's going to be.
He's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
I like
We love
Raspadori. And don't forget, Zaniolo, if the guy could ever get healthy, really helps Italy.
Listen,
I think he's their best player.
He's their best player.
honestly. Yeah,
Well,
I really do.
it's been
think,
2 years since he's played too, so he's got.
I know. But I mean, obviously, yeah, he's got to come
But
back.
Zaniolo can play opposed to Insigne. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's great.
he's got the most upside of anyone in the nation. So anyway, I mean they have answers, questions they have to answer. It's exciting though. Like honestly, going back from not making the World Cup to winning this tournament, how many people picked that? So they're on the right path. Hopefully they can continue. The Italian Federation gets $28 million for them winning the tournament. Pump it back into the system.
That'll help.
You know what they can try on the right side?
Go.
the guy from Verona. I don't know what's the
Oh, Zaccagni?
Zaccagni.
no, the fullback.
Lovato? No.
What's-
Arione.
Faraoni.
Faraon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
good.
mean. He's got to get creative when it comes
But
to those because right now they're not good. They're,
But he's also like 30 years old too. Like,
is
he's
Conti
not-
still? Is Conti totally broken,
Nah,
or
he
what's
sucks,
his deal?
dude. Get out of here. You want
Yeah,
Roman
last-
Yoli on the
last-
team too?
Last
Conti was
playing,
good about 6 years ago when he was 18.
He was playing last year on Parm, and he was terrible. So
Yeah. He got hurt. He got
Conte
hurt.
didn't come back.
He sucks.
No, he was
Yeah, he
playing
never
for
came
Parma
back.
at the end of the season. Yeah, you can't trust him. So anyway, it's more people come through the pipeline. I'm sure that we're not even talking about. That'll be like, oh, cool, he's on the team. So I don't know. Any final thoughts on the tournament overall? I thought it was a good tournament from like I
It
said.
was a good tournament.
The way that it started with the whole Denmark and Christian Eriksen thing, where I was like, I don't even want to watch anymore, and then Italy kind of changed that for me, and then even Denmark playing
Denmark
so well.
changed it. Yeah.
Hey,
you know-
any final thought? I tell you the final thought. I don't think England belong for the final. If you could think about this is a tournament.
Well, look at that
Yeah.
side. It was
that
Germany
side
and
was
England
very
on that
unbalanced.
side.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
would have seen better than them in Germany.
Well, no, I'll tell them. I would say they definitely deserve to play to pass Germany. They beat them 2-0.
Yeah.
Germany was a disappointment the whole time, despite having Gosens, my favorite player.
But I think he's
Um,
saying too, it was England's tournament to win because they
Yeah,
were
but Germany
home.
would
Yeah.
be like Germany would be like Spain. At the
Because
end, they
Germany
would come
has
out.
the history, and they know how to play in the final,
Yeah.
and they come up big in those situations. England
Yeah.
doesn't come up big.
That's right.
So that I can see why you're saying that, but England deserved to be there. They beat Germany. You can't really defend that. You can't argue that.
Yeah.
But the whole game at the end.
Okay, well, it got them far enough. It got them to where they ended. Did they have an injury?
I don't think England belong to the final.
Well, I think they did. If
Well,
you
they
look at that
belong
side,
because they got there.
yeah.
You can only play the games that are on your schedule.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Did they play the hardest road? No, they didn't have the hardest road. They
No,
were
look,
home,
I mean,
whatever.
look at the teams Italy passed. They had to beat Belgium, they had to beat
Yeah.
Spain, and then they had to beat England. They
Yeah,
deserve.
no,
this
Italy
hands
had a
down.
hard road. Italy had a hard road for sure. Now, we could say they got a little lucky too, right? Spain penalties and England penalties. But
Yeah.
we said that when the tournament starts, you need a little bit of luck too
Mhm.
to win one of these things.
So, but overall, a successful tournament for me. Not just because Italy won, but it was a fun tournament to watch.
It was a fun tournament. It was really, really satisfying because we took home the trophy, right? I mean, I filed this in. To me, I didn't get the same glory
Yeah,
and the
like-
same
like
rush as
always,
2006, but it was close.
Like
Mhm.
always, thank you, Juventus.
Yes, I mean
Well,
you have to
that's what
say
we were
that.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Juventus is the show when Juventus had the most player in the national team is good.
Yeah, well, that's why we were saying this year that wasn't the case, right? Because we really only had Bonucci and Chiellini, and Chiesa.
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 Yeah, Chiesa.
Even
Yeah.
Bernardeschi for Italy is good.
I give
For
it.
his limit,
I
for
thought
penalties.
Bernardeschi was worth his weight in gold. Like he
Yeah.
was fantastic for what he did.
And the penalty was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool on the penalties. You got to give him credit for that. He came in
And
and
the
impressed.
final, he came in and he did what he had to do to press.
Yeah.
Put a
It's
pressure
just
on the
crazy. It's just crazy that he was even
Hey,
on the
believe
team.
me, believe it or
Well, that's
not,
what I was gonna say.
he don't
Chris.
even lost the ball.
That's what I was
When he
gonna
hit the
say.
ball, he never, like he used to lose.
And this is why though. This is why sometimes someone put it in the chat before, when it's destiny, right? Because
Yeah.
if we were picking the team,
There's no
not
way.
one of us here would have taken
Well,
Bernardeschi.
Yeah. If I think if Zaniolo is on the team, Bernardeschi's probably not there.
No,
And,
why
and in
you see-
fairness, what Bernardeschi did, another player could do, right? It wasn't groundbreaking. but
Mancini was criticized by not take Politano instead. He took
Yeah.
I
Bernardeschi.
criticized him for
Frank
that.
said that. Yeah.
I criticized him for that
Politano should be there.
because
Yeah,
Politano should have been there, and I thought they could have used another midfielder,
He didn't deserve to be on the team, but he took him for whatever reason, and it paid off.
maybe for the group, right? Like who knows? Maybe he fits
Yeah.
into it because that's
Could be there. Look, sometimes if they stay well with the team.
Maybe
Yeah.
he looked. He goes, "This guy's player number 23. He's probably not going to play that much. I'd rather have someone that gets good with the team."
Yeah,
Maybe that's why Keane wasn't
because
on the
this
team.
they take in consideration.
Yeah, it's
Because I criticized them for not taking Keane because I said, "Oh, at least he gives us a little bit more speed than our other forwards." But maybe
Yeah, but-
Keane doesn't get along with the group.
Yeah,
Well,
I
he
mean,
does
and it
have
was-
a reputation. So
Yeah, and maybe it was more to lose than to gain. You know, we don't know. We're
bigger
not there.
bigger picture kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
but
it's not just-
Kidna would have seen him better than the Balotti.
Well, that was my point
Wow.
before the tournament, right? Why not take Keane
But,
as a different type of forward,
but
right? But
again,
maybe we don't know how he is with the rest.
Pelosi is like best friends with the Mobley.
Yeah,
and, like, there's
maybe
things,
that's, you know.
So I don't know.
But anyway, it was a good job by them.
Yeah,
They won.
because Immobile and Balotti, they're friends. you
Yeah,
know.
then one guy's mad, the other guy's left. It's just, you know, maybe there's more. And these guys aren't bad. They're just not world class forwards at the
Yeah.
highest
They're
level.
not fit with the rest of the
Yeah,
team.
and they
You
don't
know
fit.
what? You know on these TV shows
They're
that they
not
have on,
fit.
like,
No, they're not fit. They're not fit well. No, they're
Yeah.
not fit.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
you know,
you know the TV shows they have on like Amazon and stuff. I wish someone did one on like a national team because I don't think they've done that before.
Yeah,
It'd
that
be
would actually be
interesting
really. That's actually a
to
cool
see
idea.
that. Yeah.
They should do that actually on the net. They should do it for World Cup, like
Yeah.
follow like 8 teams or something, and then like you
Yeah.
have like you know, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that for our channel. Maybe we get the rights for that.
Oh,
Follow 8 teams in the 2022
you
World
think,
Cup.
You think Italy will let us follow them? Yeah. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this. Next week, we're gonna get back to the league, and we're gonna talk. I mean, I don't know how many transfers or whatever. We'll talk about transfers. Maybe we'll talk more about this, whatever. But we'll find things to talk about. Maybe it'll be a shorter
so
episode.
let's talk. You think Ronaldo's going to stay with Juventus?
We're gonna talk about that next week.
I don't know.
We're
What
gonna-
do you
we're
think?
gonna-
We're gonna definitely probably spend a lot of time on that next week. What do you think? You think he's gonna stay? I
I
thought he
don't-
was supposed to decide that already.
I don't want to spoil my thoughts, so I'm gonna save it for next week.
I thought he was supposed to have that meeting to decide. I think he's gonna end up staying. I think.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Because they talk about he wants 2 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Juventus too.
All right.
They give it 20 million a year.
Okay, next week we're gonna say goodbye. Like, subscribe, YouTube, Twitch. Listen again on podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, and follow us on Twitter. Yes, Frank, we have a Twitter.
Search our producer's name on OnlyFans.
Our producer has an OnlyFans, only feet pics, and we will see you guys next week.
Congratulations, Italia. Have fun, guys.
Good night.